The Family Medical Leave Act, or FMLA, was created in 1993. While it affects any worker in the United States, it varies upon profession, one in particular being parents in the military.
He is allotted 10 days of maternity leave for me, so he can bond with our son, he can be home, we can be a family, but his unit only gave him 2 of those 10 days.
Just the life of military was more sacrifice.
After speaking to military parents Jessica from the U.S. Army and Zach from the U.S. Navy, as well as researching the ins and outs of the Act, it is clear that we must recognize the effects of the Family Medical Leave Act on not just adults but on children as well. Families are the central piece of a child's environment. Due to this importance, we must continue to consider the well-being of primary caregivers. Researchers Luthar and Eisenberg emphasize the importance of focusing on social environments in order to more adequately address any problems a child may have developmentally. When discussing FMLA in relation to military families, parents should have more guaranteed time with their children. Experiences of parental distress, poor parental physiological health, or the hoped-for improvements in family resilient functioning are all extremely important factors influenced by parental self-efficacy.
Rather than cherishing the moments, and I'm probably going to be rushing through the points that we're supposed to be doing, and it's going to feel more like a job than a pleasure.
Saltzman, Lester, Milburn, Woodward, and Stein indicated that improvement in families' resilience processing, such as communication, problem-solving, responsiveness, and involvement, helped to predict the improvement in psychological health for both military and civilian parents after familial change. An article published in the American Prospect states that the Family Medical Leave Act provides job protection to workers if they need time off to care for a new baby or a seriously ill family member, to address their own serious health condition, or even to deal with a family member's military deployment.
And they found out late term in her pregnancy that their child was going to have a heart deficiency. And so it was amazing because the unit, as soon as it came in that that child was going to have some type of medical issues, the unit came in, medical doctors pulled together, and they transferred that whole family.
But this policy is not what many would hope for it to be, and isn't always properly implemented.
I would say that the biggest improvements that can be made is having the chain of command a little bit more knowledgeable about what the program is and how they can implement it.
If we wish to make changes to the Family Medical Leave Act, there are some key points and protective factors for children that we want to emphasize. First, we want to promote secure attachment in children through more contact time with parents. Second, we want to enhance this positive environment for positive early life experiences. And third, we want to help the family's overall health. This would include communication, problem solving, and psychological health. After reaching out to these military families, it became clear that the biggest change that the Family Medical Leave Act needed was to have consistent and fair implications across all military families.
Mostly, I feel appreciative of the 10 days they give me rather than wanting anything more because I understand what I signed up for.
When parents do not get the appropriate amount of leave they need to support and care for their new family, they run a risk of not developing the appropriate attachment to their child.
The early months of development are critical to, establishing that relationship, and I won't have a lot of time, so.
According to the attachment theory, individuals' attachment styles are based on the attachments formed during infancy with primary caregivers. Their primary caregivers are those that are around them and care for them on a consistent basis. Those who are able to form a secure attachment feel a sense of safety as a child and form a strong, secure relationship. Those who form an insecure attachment do not form these secure relationships. Secure attachments are when a child feels as though they can depend on their caregiver and they feel protected when they are not around. Insecure attachment is when a child will avoid their caregiver and not seek them for support or love. According to Joeng, these insecure attachment styles that are brought on by a lack of caregiver presence are associated with less self-compassion and greater anxiety and depression within the child. Encouraging a secure attachment to both parents is imperative to the child's future well-being. When both parents are around to take care of the child, the mother will be less likely to develop maternal gatekeeping. This is where the mother's action prohibits the father from being further involved in parental decisions because he wasn't there during crucial months of development. With a more consistent execution of the Family Medical Leave Act within military families, this gatekeeping will not be a problem and both parents will be more thoroughly involved. There are multiple long-term effects with this change. The child that grows up with both parents' presence will have more self-compassion, deal with less emotional stress, less depression, and will have greater happiness, as noted by Joeng.
In conclusion, these families understand what they signed up for and know the true outcomes of rethinking the current policy.
I feel like based on the function of what this job is, like you are in the military, your job is to deploy, to be fit to deploy, and to defend and sacrifice your life if need be.
It benefits the majority, but it would strap the people who are already strapped even tighter. It's to prevent massive change up to the birth, but then you're causing a massive change right after.
We would need to do extensive surveying to see what military families need because of the conflicting opinions we heard. But better consistency and availability remains the biggest issue. In order to achieve this, people in positions of leadership must better educate themselves on the Act. Only then can we really make a difference in this policy.